I mean, he's a veteran player, so it gives us a little bit that veteran influence coming off the bench. We know we have to look ahead a little bit as well and see, team-wise, we could be missing a lot of guys in the summer, with the Copa Centenario. So that's, especially our front runners. So it gives us a little bit of cover and protection for that. But he's good about his work. He's consistent about his work. He gets on the end of stuff. That's always been his strength. He's not afraid to pull the trigger.
And given that he's going to have to work his way in and earn his way into the rotation and everything else, long term, where do you see him projecting for you guys? Is he a potential starter? Is he a rotation guy, a depth guy? Where do you sort of slot him right now?
No, we'll see as things go along. They'll be better to answer. But right now I see him as a guy who can offer us some different options off the bench. Gives us another center striker. We've been in situations, a couple of games where Morris or Valdez have both, fatigued a little bit, and so that leaves us without somebody who's truly comfortable playing in the middle. So it gives us gives us different options that way.
He seems like a pretty funny, outgoing, charismatic kind of guy. What kind of presence do you think he'll bring to the locker room?
I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, he'll have a good presence in the locker room. I mean, Herculez is. He's worked his way. I think he probably mentioned that, early on he had a chip on his shoulder. He probably still has a chip on his shoulder a little bit to prove things. But, I knew him back then when he was younger, and he was certainly feisty and competitive. And, nobody handed him anything. He had to earn his way up to the top. And I think over those years and over those experiences as well, though, he's really matured and developed a good sense of team and what it means to be successful and how to be successful. So I think he's really become a really well-rounded guy, not only on the field but also off the field. And I think he's a positive influence in our locker room.
When did you first meet him?
Herculez, I think it was 2001, 2002. He was like 19. I think it was 2001. He was like 19 at the time. He was playing for a team called the San Diego Flash. We played against him with the Galaxy in a training game. And, my assistant coach had already seen him play once and said, you might want to look at this kid. And we looked at him, we liked him, and we signed him to, at that time was considered a developmental contract in our league at that time. So
he had said sort of that his career from back those days sort of even surprises him. Does it surprise you?
Yeah, because it started off a little bit rocky. He was up and down a little bit. He was with us. We sent him up here on loan. He had the injury up here, the fifth metatarsal injury. Got another offer in San Diego, went back there. That didn't work out. Then he got a good chance with the Galaxy, and then he sort of rode that. Then it was Colorado, Kansas City. So it was a little bit up and down. But the thing is, he's a survivor. He perseveres, and I think that's a quality he brings to our locker room. I think that's a quality he brings to our team. Is he's a guy who, hey, doesn't matter what kind of obstacles are laid in my way, I'm going to figure out a way to get this done.
Is there any sort of cautionary tale to fans who are concerned that Jordan Morris hadn't scored in his first 3 games, that sometimes it takes a little longer than that?
I don't think people should panic or worry at this stage. It's a matter of, is he getting looks? And I think if you look at the last couple of games, you look at the first game, he got a really good look. He got a really good look this past game. He was on the edge of it in the Salt Lake game. So, eventually it'll come, and, sometimes the first one is the hardest one to get, and the rest become easier.
Gomez says for him this isn't about the money, it's that he just loves this game and it's so much fun for him to be out here playing, and that with Seattle it was a lot about the people who are here. How refreshing is that to hear as a coach? Because obviously at the end of the day this is a business, but to have a player that has that take.
No, it was one of the reasons that we decided to make this move, and one of the reasons that we were looking at Herculez is because we knew there was history, with me and him. There was also history with Brian Schmetzer and him, for him playing up here. He liked his time here in Seattle, his history between him and Adrian as well, and I think he enjoyed the city, enjoyed his time here, and, he knows that his career is drawing to a close. He's not, I think you guys talked to him, he's a pretty bright guy, so you maybe pick and choose a little more. Well, I don't necessarily want to play here or here. This is a city I want to play in, and I think that helped us.
Sigi, what are your thoughts about the timing of the international break here? Is it an opportunity after starting 0-3 to kind of step back and kind of hit reset?
No, when you're 0-3, you want to play. You know, you don't want to. You know, of course, you don't want to play missing a bunch of guys. So not playing is not the worst thing this weekend. But you know, when you lose a game, the next thing you want to do is get on the field as soon as possible and play a game. So you know, having to go through 2 weeks. One of my old players called me and he goes, "Oh, 2 weeks." I go, "Yeah, tell me about it." So you know, for 2 weeks, I got to talk to you guys about it because you guys are going to ask me 0-3, 0-3, and you know what? 0-3 is not going to change until April 2nd. You know, and then we'll try and change it.